Hi guys, once again it's Mary Beth Temple here for Hooked for Life, and in this video we're going to learn how to knit a scarf, and we're going to learn at the same time how to make the broken rib. Now, unlike some of the other ribs we have gone over here in the channel, like the fisherman's rib or the mistake rib, for the broken rib there is definitely a right side and a wrong side. So this is the wrong side. It's still a pretty stitch on both sides, but it's not identical. So we have these sort of staggered lumpy bumpies on the wrong side. Again, I do not hate this at all. It's just not the same as on the other side. And then on the other side, it looks more like a ribbing. Now, if you look super close, you'll see the difference between this and a regular knit one, purl one ribbing is my knit looks the same, but in between it, instead of looking at purl bumps on this side, I'm looking at a garter stitch bump because every other row is a knit row. So we're going to talk more about that when we get into the actual scarf. Now you can click on over to the blog and get the pattern all written out for free, but I don't really feel like you need to. You can absolutely learn how to knit this scarf by just staying here on the channel and following along. So I am going to cast on for this scarf and this width. I'm going to cast on 19 stitches. Now I'm using a super bulky yarn, Bernat Softy Chunky, and I'm using a size 11 or 8mm knitting needle. And I'm using a circular needle on camera, but that's because I always use a circular needle on camera. If you prefer straight needles, that is totally fine. Now, if you want to change the width of your scarf, for this scarf I have 3 stitches at the beginning and the end of every row that are always knit because those are my side borders and I want my scarf to be nice and straight and smooth up the side and not curl in on itself. I have 13 stitches in the center. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 13 is 19. That's what I cast on. If you want a different width, maybe you're using a fingering weight yarn and you need to cast on a lot more stitches. You want to make sure that your center section, which is where the pattern stitch is an odd number of stitches. As long as this is an odd number and you're consistent on the outside, you're gold. You can really make this stitch do whatever you want. So let's get started on the actual knitting. The first thing I did is I cast on 19 stitches and I knit 6 rows. That's going to give me that little border down here on the edge. That's going to give me my nice garter stitch border on the first short edge. I have switched to a darker yarn here because, hoo boy, was that cream color was coming in hot with my video lighting. So I've switched to a darker yarn, and of course you can make whatever color you want. So here I am, and I'm on the wrong side, and you can see that I'm the wrong side of my scarf because I have that little ridge across the bottom. There's my right side, no ridge. That's personal preference. Some people don't care about that. Some people think the ridge belongs on the right side. This is just how I like to do it. So I have knit my 6 rows, and now I'm going to start my pattern stitch. So I'm going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you want to remember where you are at any given moment, you could pop a little stitch marker on there to separate that garter stitch border from your pattern stitch, but you don't have to. And now we're going to knit 1, purl 1 to the last 3 stitches. Knit 1, purl 1. Knit 1, purl 1. So you're noticing my yarn's going back and forth between the needles. You don't want to put it over your right hand needle because that will give you a big gap in your knitting and will also throw your stitch count off when you accidentally make an extra stitch. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. So I've done all my knit 1, purl 1s. I'm going to knit 1. That's the last stitch in my pattern stitch because that was an odd number of stitches. So I'm going to end with a knit 1. There's my 3 stitches that are left. Again, if you want to pop a little ring marker on there so you can remember that's the border, that's okay. So there's my knit 3. We'll talk more about it in a second, but again, this knit stitch is part of your center section. These 3 knit stitches are your border. So now I'm going to turn around to the right side of the work, and I'm going to unkink my cable because I'm having that kind of a day. And then all I'm going to do on this side is knit all the stitches. I'm going to knit all the way across. This is the obligatory part where I say, if you like this video, please give me a subscribe. I'm really close to 10,000 subscribers and I would like to hit that number because it makes YouTube happy. And I want to make YouTube happy. And again, you can pop on over to the blog. The link is below if you want to get this pattern all written out. But you don't have to. You're smart and you can learn how to do it just watching this video. Here's my last 3 stitches. So you can see already my pattern's starting to pop up. Here's my vertical columns of the knit on the knit side. So this is my right side. And once again, instead of little purl bumps in here, I'm getting garter stitch bumps. This is all there is to this stitch pattern. You have your wrong side row has your knits and purls, and your right side row is knit across. So let's just do it one more time. Going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3. Slip the marker if you have one. And now it's knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. We're going to do this all the way across. See, our columns are building up on the other side. Purl 1. And that's a really simple way to make sure that all your stitches are lining up and it's working the way you want it to. Purl 1, knit 1, and then knit 3 from the border. Go to the right side, knit across. So what I'm saying is, if you're concerned, if you're learning the stitch, if you're a little worried that you don't have it right, if these columns are not maintaining from the bottom to the top unbroken, you are off somewhere. These little columns, let's see if I can pull up the finished sample. These little columns go all the way from one end of the scarf all the way up to the other. Now I use 2 skeins of Bernat Softy Chunky on this. All you're going to need to do is keep knitting until you're just a little bit before the length that you want, or you want to make sure you have enough yarn left to knit 7 rows. You're going to knit 6 rows, and then you're going to bind off knitwise. Then you have a couple of ends to weave in, and you're all finished. We have some other videos here on the channel on fisherman's rib and mistake rib. I don't know when I became the ribbing person, but here we are. And I'll be adding later on, I'll be adding some videos on making this stitch in the round. This is of course how to do it flat. And thanks so much for joining me. Please like the video, please subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell your friends, hang out with me again. Thanks for visiting. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.